Greetings, Celtics Nation. The moment we've been waiting for is finally here. After a long regular season, the NBA playoffs are upon us, and the Boston Celtics are once again in the spotlight. 10 months have passed since Boston raised banner number 18 to the rafters of TD Garden, a triumph that rekindled memories of past glories and reignited the city's championship fire. Now, the mission is clear: go back-to-back. Something the Celtics haven't done since the Bill Russell era in 1968 and 1969. And this Sunday, the road to Banner 19 officially begins. Boston enters the postseason as one of the most complete teams in the league, having dominated the regular season with poise, consistency, and a roster that looks built for the playoffs. They're scheduled to face either the Orlando Magic or the Atlanta Hawks in the first round, depending on the outcome of the play-in tournament. And while both teams pose different threats, there's a sense that Boston is locked in, focused, and determined to turn this postseason into another historic run. Personally, I'd rather see the Celtics take on Atlanta. The Hawks have had their fair share of issues: injuries, inconsistency, and defensive lapses that Boston could exploit. Orlando, on the other hand, is young, athletic, and hungry. They won't be an easy out. Either way, the Celtics need to come out firing. What makes this Celtics team so dangerous is the starting lineup. A unit that's played over 150 games together and still feels like it's just scratching the surface of its potential. Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Jaylen Brown. 5 players with unique skill sets, each capable of taking over a game, and all brought together under the sharp eye of Brad Stevens. The chemistry is real. The talent is undeniable. And if you've been watching closely this season, you know just how rare it is to have a group like this firing on all cylinders. They've set records. They've blown out opponents by 30+. They've rallied from behind. And most importantly, they've learned to trust each other. But can they do it again when it matters most? That's the million-dollar question. One that doesn't just apply to the team as a whole, but to certain individuals whose futures in Boston could hinge on this playoff run. Let's talk about Drew Holiday. Last summer, his arrival in Boston felt like the missing piece. A gritty, defensive-minded veteran with championship pedigree. His impact last year during the Celtics championship run was undeniable. Timely threes, clutch defense, and a calming presence in high-pressure moments. But this season, it's been more complicated. Holiday hasn't played poorly, not by any means. But he hasn't quite met the lofty expectations that came with his acquisition. His numbers are down across the board. Scoring, assists, rebounding, three-point shooting, all dipped slightly compared to last season. That deadly corner three he made his signature, it's been noticeably less consistent. And when the playoffs come, numbers alone don't tell the full story, but they do hint at trends. Holiday's regular season stats have raised some eyebrows, especially for a player making north of $33 million and entering his mid-30s. The Celtics, let's not forget, are operating over the second apron of the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement. The penalties for maintaining this level of spending will only get harsher. If Boston falls short this postseason, someone will likely be moved. And Holiday, because of his age, contract, and still high trade value, becomes a logical name in those discussions. Still, there's another side to Drew Holiday, a version we saw in last year's playoffs, a version that Boston desperately hopes resurfaces. He was fearless, precise, a lockdown defender who could switch 1 through 4 and make life miserable for elite scorers. His decision-making in transition was smart. His leadership was quiet but undeniable. And, perhaps most importantly, he made plays that changed games. A clutch steal, a contested three, a stop at the rim. These are the moments that don't always show up in the box score, but when you play off games. And if he can bring that same level again, all the concerns about his regular season fade into the background. Make no mistake, this team goes as far as its stars take them. But it's players like Holiday who tip the balance. And it's not just him under the microscope. The Celtics have invested heavily in this core. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are 2 of the highest-paid players in the league. Kristaps Porzingis, despite his injury history, was extended and counted on as a vital stretch big with rim protection upside. Derek White, quietly one of the best two-way guards in the NBA, continues to be the glue holding things together on both ends of the floor. And yet, with all that talent comes financial pressure. This team cannot exist in its current form for long. The new CBA makes it nearly impossible to maintain 5 high-salaried stars without massive penalties. That's why this postseason means everything. If Boston wins it all, none of that matters. Flags fly forever. You sacrifice draft picks, future flexibility, whatever it takes. But if they fall short, hard decisions will follow. That's the cost of competing at the highest level. You either cash in or start reshuffling. And let's be clear, this Celtics team was built to cash in now. The clock is ticking. Brad Stevens knows it. Joe Mazzulla knows it. The players feel it too. That's why there's a quiet urgency around this playoff run. Not panic, but purpose. They understand what's at stake. The road won't be easy. Even with a 61-win season under their belt, there are threats looming, especially out west. The Oklahoma City Thunder are young, fearless, and deep. They've got the look of a team that could be ahead of schedule and hungry to prove it. But as good as they've been, a fully healthy Boston squad has no reason to fear anyone. That's the key, though, health. Last postseason, Kristaps Porzingis missed the first 3 rounds and played just 2 games in the finals. He's healthy now, and that alone could make a massive difference. Same with Jaylen Brown, who's battled nagging injuries, and even Tatum, who's logged heavy minutes all season. The Celtics need everyone at full strength. That's the one thing that could derail them. Not talent, not coaching, just health. I've watched this team all year, 56 games to be exact. I've seen the highs, the 30-point blowouts, the record-breaking 3-point nights, the clutch wins on the road. I've also seen the flaws, the slow starts, the moments of stagnation on offense, the occasional lapses on defense. But through it all, one thing has remained constant. This team is built to win now, and I believe they will. Call it confidence, call it bias, call it what you want. But from everything I've seen, the 2024 Boston Celtics are ready to raise Banner 19. Now, I want to hear from you. How confident are you in this team heading into the playoffs? On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm a solid 10. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Whether you're optimistic or skeptical, be sure to drop your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any coverage throughout the postseason. The journey starts now. Let's get it. As the playoffs inch closer, it's impossible not to reflect on just how far this Celtics team has come. Not just over this season, but in the last few years. It wasn't that long ago that Boston was stuck in a cycle of almost Eastern Conference Finals exits, heartbreaking Game 7 losses, missed opportunities in the clutch. There was always potential. There was always talent. But something was missing. Whether it was leadership, consistency, or just that championship edge, the Celtics had to grow into the contender they are today. And that journey, the ups, the downs, the moments that felt like setbacks, has all led to this. This is the payoff. This is the culmination of everything they've been building toward. And now it's time to show the world what they're really made of. Jason Tatum, for all the criticism he's taken over the years, has evolved into a complete player. We've seen the growth, the playmaking, the defense, the way he commands double teams and still makes the right read. The numbers speak for themselves, but it's the maturity that's most impressive. Gone are the days where he'd settle for tough jumpers late in games or disappear for stretches. He's become the leader this team needs, not just in stats, but in temperament. You can see it in how the team responds to him. You can see it in how he handles the media. There's a calm, focused energy about Tatum now, like he knows exactly who he is and what this team is capable of. He's not trying to prove anything anymore. He's trying to win. And then there's Jaylen Brown, a player who has constantly fought to carve out his place alongside Tatum, often in the shadow, but never in the background. Brown has always been explosive, a downhill force with underrated handles and elite finishing ability. But this season, he's taken that next step. The decision-making is sharper, the defense more engaged. He's cut down on turnovers, improved his off-ball movement, and learned how to pick his spots within the offense. That matters, especially on a team this stacked. And don't let anyone tell you Jaylen doesn't rise in the playoffs. He's been Boston's most consistent scorer in past postseason runs and has delivered in big moments time and time again. This is his chance to silence any lingering doubt once and for all. But let's not forget the glue guys, the ones who make everything click. Derek White is one of them. Maybe the most underrated player in the NBA right now. A guard who does a little bit of everything. Elite shot blocker for his size, smart passer, steady shooter, and one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. He doesn't need the spotlight. He just wants to win. And his presence has become irreplaceable in this lineup. White makes life easier for Tatum and Brown by taking on tough defensive assignments. He covers for mistakes. He plays with poise. If there's a player on this roster who will quietly win you 2 or 3 games this postseason without making headlines, it's him. Kristaps Porzingis is the wild card. His fit with Boston was questioned by many when the trade happened. Injury concerns, ball dominance, the ability to adapt to a more team-oriented style. Those were all valid worries. But the truth is, Porzingis has exceeded expectations. He's embraced his role, thrived in pick-and-pop situations, and more importantly, bought into the defensive identity of this team. He's not the 7-foot unicorn who needs the ball in his hands anymore. He's a matchup nightmare who can protect the rim and space the floor like few bigs in the league. When healthy, Porzingis changes the ceiling of this team. He allows Boston to play 5-out offense without sacrificing rim protection. And in the playoffs, when matchups dictate everything, that versatility could be the difference between advancing and going home early. And that brings us to the head coach, Joe Mazzulla. A year ago, there were questions. Lots of them. Was he too inexperienced? Could he command the locker room? Would the players respect his system? Fast forward to now, and Mazzulla has put those doubts to rest. He's grown tremendously. He's found the balance between analytics and instinct. He's allowed the team to lean into its strengths while addressing weaknesses. His rotations are sharper. His in-game adjustments are more confident. And perhaps most importantly, he has the trust of his players. You can see it in how they defend. You can see it in how they respond in timeouts. This team believes in Mazzulla. And in the postseason, belief in your coach can carry you through the fire. That belief will be tested. Every playoff run has moments that threaten to derail everything. A blown lead, a bad shooting night, an injury, a controversial call. These are the moments that separate contenders from champions. And for Boston, the margin for error is slim. This isn't just another year of development. This isn't a see how far we can go kind of run. This is it. The window is wide open, but it won't stay that way forever. With the financial limitations coming and the age curve beginning to show on some of the roster, this could be the last time we see this exact version of the Celtics on the floor together. And that's why it matters so much. That's why every possession counts. That's why every loose ball has to be fought for like it's Game 7. Because this team is good enough. Good enough to win it all. Good enough to go through Milwaukee, through Philly, through New York, through Miami, whoever stands in the way. And then potentially through Denver or Oklahoma City or Minnesota or whoever emerges from the Wild West. Boston has the experience, the firepower, the depth, the defense, the coaching. They just need to execute, one game at a time. There's something special about a team that's been through the heartbreak and still chooses to believe. Something powerful about walking into a playoff run not with fear, but with focus. The Celtics aren't perfect. No team is. But they are prepared. They are battle-tested. And they are hungry. That's a dangerous combination. So buckle up. The journey is about to begin. Game 1 is just around the corner. The crowd at TD Garden will be loud. The spotlight will be bright. The pressure will be real. And for the Boston Celtics, the opportunity is everything. Another chance to write their legacy. Another shot at glory. Another step toward Banner 19. Let's go. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In the heart of Boston, a new rumor has emerged that has fans buzzing with excitement. The Celtics are making a strong push to acquire Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the NBA's brightest stars. The Canadian phenom, currently leading the Oklahoma City Thunder, has been a revelation in recent seasons. With the Celtics already boasting a championship-contending roster, the addition of SGA would elevate them to new heights, creating a formidable trio alongside Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. As the Celtics front office looks to solidify their championship window, Gilgeous-Alexander's elite scoring ability, defensive prowess, and playmaking could be the missing piece they need. SGA's rise to stardom has been nothing short of extraordinary. After being traded to the Thunder in 2019, he became the focal point of their offense and quickly emerged as one of the league's most dynamic players. In the 2023 season, he finished fourth in scoring, averaging 31.4 points per game, and was named to the All-NBA first team for the second consecutive year. His performances have captured the attention of teams around the league, and Boston is no exception. With the Thunder's continued development, many are wondering if Gilgeous-Alexander might seek a new challenge, one that could lead him to the storied franchise in the Northeast. What makes SGA an especially tantalizing prospect for the Celtics is his versatility. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches, he has the size to defend multiple positions, an asset that would bolster Boston's already elite defensive identity. His ability to create shots for himself and his teammates would also complement the Celtics' offensive system, which relies heavily on ball movement and spacing. Furthermore, Gilgeous-Alexander's leadership qualities have been on full display, guiding the Thunder to the playoffs and beyond. His maturity and poise on the court are qualities that could make him an ideal fit in Boston's high-pressure environment. Boston's interest in SGA is not just about the here and now. With the franchise committed to long-term success, acquiring a player of Gilgeous-Alexander's caliber would set them up for years to come. The Celtics' window to contend for titles is wide open, but they must act swiftly to capitalize on their current roster's prime years. Adding a player like SGA would immediately make Boston one of the most dangerous teams in the league, with a future anchored by Tatum, Brown, and the Canadian star. As of now, talks between the Celtics and the Thunder are speculative, but the rumors are undeniable. Gilgeous-Alexander's continued excellence, combined with Boston's championship aspirations, make this potential move one of the most exciting storylines heading into the offseason. Celtics fans are holding their breath, hoping that the franchise will make the bold move necessary to bring the dynamic guard to Beantown, potentially changing the course of the NBA for years to come. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.